My name's Lisa Kelley, Air Force brat. I was born in Biloxi, Mississippi, so I can't say I'm from anywhere. I moved around every 2 years up until I was in high school, so I'm a nomad, and no, we weren't running from the law. I got a lot of adventures moving around. I can make friends easy. I can move in a heartbeat. Tell me I'm moving tomorrow and I can pack the whole house up. Had a really close relationship with my dad, not so much with my mom, so I grew up quick that way. I have a brother that's 2 years younger than me and a sister that's 11 years younger than me. So I'm the oldest, the shortest, and I'm 6 foot tall, so family of giants. I had a very strict upbringing. I'm very regimented because when I was growing up, everything had to be just so. I had parents who were, my dad was 100% prejudiced when I was growing up, so we grew up in all white towns. I grew up as someone who did not feel the way that things were being done in my house were right, or not right or wrong, just didn't feel right. So I think that it shaped me to go out and learn how to live a life that wasn't in a little box that they put us in. My dad put us in an all-white town because he felt like that was the place to be, and I knew it wasn't. My brother and I are completely opposites. My brother is still a very prejudiced person, and I think that it shaped me to be a more caring person because I don't want anybody to feel bad about themselves. And I heard stories about my dad growing up, and I didn't want to make anybody feel the way that he felt or the way that he felt made other people feel. So it's made me go into a completely different mindset, which I'm glad. I mean, my sister and I are just alike. My brother called me a black sheep because he said I wasn't like the rest of the family, but I take that as a badge of honor. That strictness and that lifestyle that I was put in made me want to be the exact opposite, and I'm thankful for that because it's too much hate in the world. My grandmother died at 54 of a heart attack. My mother committed suicide at 54. So that number has been looming in the future very closely. And hitting 54 was more a badge of honor than it was anything else because I changed the lifestyle. Hereditary, I have heart disease in my family. I changed my diet. I did all the things to try to change that being my marker. Fighting depression, I was really scared about it at 53. I was not scared about it, I was just apprehensive. I'm like, you know, that's like a deadline. It was like a deadline. And then as it got closer, I think that I just realized that it can control me or I can control it. And all I can do every day is try not to do the things that my mom and my grandmother did, and that is take care of yourself as much as you can. Don't let little things be the best of you, because every day you woke up is a blessing. I was the first kid, so it was more, I think, trial and error. And then my brother came up behind me, and in my perception, she loved him more than me, but it was just she was better with a boy than she was with a girl. So I think that youth just made me bitter because I went out looking for either to be mothered or to mother others. So I spent a lot of time giving people an expectation when I was in my 20s that they couldn't live up to. And I was kind of doing exactly what I got upset at my mom about. Going through all of those aha awakening moments and then feeling bad about yourself about the way you've treated other people just sends you into a whole nother, spiral. I wanted acceptance from everybody else because I didn't feel like I was getting it at home. It's the opposite of when girls don't have that attention from their dad and they go out looking for a guy that is going to give the attention. Mine was more wanting somebody to be my mom, somebody to tell me that everything I was going through as a teenager is what girls go through. My summer job was babysitting my sister, and it made me able to focus on somebody else's life being shaped, and I took that very seriously. And so it felt good to be able to have someone come to you that needed you and be able to do the little things like teaching her to whistle, teaching her to tie her shoes, those things where you make yourself available emotionally, spiritually, just that fundamental, I'm here for you. And I think that's where I try to put myself, if I can't help monetarily, I want to help someone walking up and saying, this is my life. I have a gentleman that comes to my bus stop every morning, and he's a Korean War vet, and he wears his hat. It says vet. And so one morning I said, thank you for your service. And we've talked more and more along the way and asked him about his, where did you serve? What did you do? And, he's opened up more and more. And he said, no one ever asked me, he's in a wheelchair, no one ever asked me about myself. They see me in a wheelchair and they pity me. I can see it in their eyes. He said, you from the minute you walked up have been just accepting, and you have that look in your eye like, hi, how you doing? And he said, and that's rare, so you should be very happy about that. That's what I want people to feel and think when they see me, is that you can walk up to me and tell me, and I'm not going to judge. So it gave me a big heart with my sister, because I could have gone, I feel like if I'd have gone with that bitterness that I was holding towards my mother, my sister more or less saved my life. And I tell her that all the time. She did a lot for me, more than I can do for her. I think I've just had the subtle reminders along the way of what could happen, instead of something drastic happening that made me who I am today. I think all the little things led up to it, because I could have gone one path or the other starting younger. So I think that charting my path an opposite way was more gradual than just one event for me. My mom committing suicide, of course, is a huge event, but I think that knowing how sad and depressed she was all the time, it wasn't a shuddering moment for me. There was a sadness, but my mom was so sad and so depressed all the time. My sister and I were almost like not too, I know that sounds terrible, not too shocked about it, because she never talked to anybody. She was more, what do people think about me type person, and so my sister and I have kind of gone that opposite way. So it's not that I wasn't shocked. Of course you're shocked when someone kills himself, but I can't imagine living in my head like that all the time. I think that knowing the things I know now, like everybody says, I'd go back and tell my younger self, don't be so hard on yourself. The strained relationship with my mom, I probably would not have been as sad and depressed about it if someone had told me that the same thing that they told me a few years ago, which is maybe your mom did the best thing she could with what she had. So I think that I would not have gone through my life being bitter and upset about something that was really out of her control and out of my control. So that's really one of the biggest, most pivotal things in my life, is not feeling like everything was towards me. You have to love yourself before you allow anybody else to love you, for one thing, because you are the most precious gift. So love and adore yourself, and not in a conceited way, in a because when you feel that way about yourself, you're not going to let anybody use you or take advantage of you. Just that's the most important thing, is to love and respect yourself. See that I conquer. If I had turned out like my mom committing suicide, the depression, that I conquer not letting the little things get me down. I think I conquer stigmatism. I think that, or stigmas, I think that I accept people coming from where I came from. I think that I conquered that lifestyle that isn't accepting. So if I had to give myself I conquered living the same place that other people that were raised as me were raised, and didn't let that hate and all that eat me up. I'm Lisa Kelley, and I am a conqueror.